I really think we need to look at ourselves. Where are we in integrity? Where are we not? What can we do to get back into integrity? Do what we say we're going to do, period.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Scott Paton. Previously, episode 138 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. It's been now 2 years, 8 months, 22 days, and 11 hours since we last spoke.
Just live your dreams, and we live in a world where you can.
That was then. This is now. Scott, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm still alive, which is a good thing, and I can't believe it's been that long.
I think the time now is equipped with jet engines.
I think you're right. If you don't pay attention to what you want to do in life, before you know it, you're in a rocking chair, and it's all passed you by.
Yeah, I love what you have on Skype here. I saw, what's the one important thing today? Yeah?
I have a friend, and when I first got together with him, like physically together in the same room as opposed to chatting or talking or phoning, we would be talking about something and he'd say, is this the most important thing I could be doing right now? What is the number one most important thing to do right now? And then he'd answer the question, and that's what we would do. And I thought, wow, like that's really a good question to ask. And then I realized as I got to know him better and better and better, that was one of the things that he coached people on and talked to them, is like, if this is not the number one most important thing, why are you doing it?
It's beautiful. I think you implemented that even when we first spoke. That was something you were doing for those that wanted to do podcasting, right? You were asking them, all right, is this the one thing you want to do? And then you were taking over and doing all of the street work, right? That goes with the process, right? Are you still doing that?
Yes.
How's that been going?
Very, very well. Yeah, I've got a few podcasts that I'm executive producing and really happy with that. And I'm also doing online video courses, which I don't know if we talked about that very much or not.
Yeah, we did. But you could go into it. Please, expand.
Well, I don't know how many I had 2 years ago, but I have 120 plus online video courses now.
Wow.
With different instructors. And I have over 200 and almost 20,000 students around the world, and over 5,500 reviews.
Wow.
Fortunately, they're mostly good reviews, not bad reviews. And one of the things that I've learned from doing all of those videos is when you accomplish a lot of something, you become known for that. And when you become known for that, people seek you out. So what's interesting for me is in 2005, I started podcasting. And from then till even now, I have podcast, and I've told everybody who would listen, you should podcast. And it really felt like out in the wilderness, shouting my message with nobody listening. And once I did the course on Udemy for podcasting, how to podcast, people then started coming to me and seriously talking about how they could start their podcast, or if I could executive produce their podcast and that sort of thing. And it was a huge, huge difference in, instead of being in the middle of the Sahara with a couple palm trees and 2 camels, I was in like downtown New York at a rock concert, and they were all wanting to talk to me or get my autograph. Not obviously that extreme, but that's really what it felt like. And I call that reverse marketing. Instead of knocking on doors, hi, do you want my gadget? Hi, do you want my widget? It's people coming to you and saying, we really want to work with you. We really want you to help us.
But there's a core component as well that goes with that, which is you were loving what you were doing. And that's important, isn't it?
This is the importance of talking to somebody else and getting feedback, because never in a million years would I have ever thought of what you just said. And of course, it's incredibly important.
Yeah, like you're the guy that loves fun as well. And podcasting is fun. Well, at least the interviewing part, right? Everything else that goes with it is just necessary.
But you know what's really nice is we live in a world where there are billions of people who are competent at all sorts of things, and they love doing what we don't. And so I have a video editor who has helped me with all but one, maybe two of my video courses over the last 4 years. It's almost like we're telepathic. I hardly have to tell her anything, and everybody loves the videos that she produces. And now I'm getting her to work on my podcasts as well. And so the result is that I can focus on the things that give me the juice in life that I'm really excited about and that I enjoy doing, that I would do if you didn't pay me. You know, I mean, like if you weren't paying me a couple $100,000 to be on this show with you, Engel, I still would be here, you know.
Yeah.
And
I believe that.
because you're not paying me anything and I'm here. But it's really nice to be able to find and build a team that can look after all of those things. And this is something I have only learned in the last few months, or I've learned it decades ago, but only started to actually do in the last few months. And I'm absolutely astounded at how a gentler, less stressful, more fun life is when I don't have to do the things that need to be done that I don't really, really want to do. So
yeah. Michael Gerber really dug into that, right? Where I think like podcasters kind of go with the technician personality that he describes in that book, where, you know, like we like to touch things, like we like to tinker, we like to do that. But when you do let it go, it really, 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 really helps. Of course, you need to be at that place as well, right? Which is something people don't share sometimes. You need to like get to that point financially to be able to be sustainable with someone else. Yeah.
And it needs to be like a goal. Right?
Exactly. It should be a goal.
Yeah. But you know, if you talk to, I think you made a really good point, Engel. If you talk to the average solopreneur, which is what I am, they just think I've got all this work to do. And they don't think I need to build my business to the point where I can outsource this and outsource that and outsource this, or I can have somebody else do it, or I can build a team, or however you want to talk about it, right? And if it becomes a goal, then all of a sudden that's a totally different scenario from, I really wish I could have somebody do this work so I didn't have to.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, there is an easier step as well that can walk you into that, which is the sideline hustle, right? So you're doing your daytime job and then you're paying others from that to do that, and as well as creating the opportunity to, you know, release the stress. So you take the money that you're getting from what you're earning and you pay into that. You pay someone to do the work. So that helps. And then you're motivated. Okay, how can I make the money that pays for this? And that helps as well. Scott, you're the supporter, my friend. Where's the best place for someone that's listening to connect and find your services, other than Udemy and all of those places the courses are?
Well, yeah, of course, if you do a search on my name in Udemy, my profile page will come up with a whole bunch of different places. My email address is scott@paton, Paton, mail.com. If you use that mail address, then put something like friend of Engel in the subject line so that I don't think it's just some spam that I'm deleting. And I post a lot on Facebook, so I'm pretty sure you could find me if you look there.
Love it. So when you look back, my friend, I mean, over let's say the last 3 years, right? Do you have any regrets on the decisions you've made to bring you to where you are today?
Oh, that's a really good question. I have one regret. I was in Egypt. I spent about a month on the Sinai Peninsula, and I loved it. But the consequence of that was that I did not go to Luxor. I did go to the Great Pyramids in Cairo, but I didn't go to Luxor, and I really wish that I had. Having said that, I plan next year to go spend some more time around the Mediterranean. I really want to go to Portugal. And so I'll be fairly close to Egypt, and I'll make sure that I go to Luxor that time. That's the thing that kind of popped up when you said, like, I really wish I'd have gone there.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Yeah. So have you had, my friend, the conversation with death?
The conversation that I always had when I was younger was thinking about a decision. When I'm 60 and I look back at this moment, will I regret doing or not doing it? Now that I'm 62, I have to change the question to when I'm 92 and looking back. But about 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was in the hospital and they told my mom to make funeral arrangements. My liver had stopped, my pancreas was inflamed, and they figured I was hours away from dying. My dad had passed away the previous year from leukemia, and the one thing that was going through my mind was there is no way I'm going to let my mom bury my dad last year and me this year.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should have to go through that. I have total peace with death. I'm confident that there's be light and angels and God and Jesus on the other side waiting for me, no matter how sinful I am. I keep asking forgiveness, so hopefully they'll answer that prayer. So I have thought about death. I have lost a daughter who was born premature, and I feel her with me all the time, and I talk to her, and I think it's just part of life, and it's beautiful. And I always think of the caterpillar that turns into the butterfly. What if our cocoon is what we call death?
I love that. I love that. Well, my friend, it gives me great pleasure to have the opportunity to call and have this conversation with you. Just 2 years, 8 months, 22 days, and 11 hours from when we last spoke, and hear that you are continuing with what you made your decision to focus on. It brings great motivation and inspiration to me and to the amazing audience that's listening, that they should go on and be true to their own unique, real self. Scott, in closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think that the number one thing that we don't do in life that we should is really appreciate the people that are around us. And I really think we need to look at ourselves. Where are we in integrity? Where are we not? What can we do to get back into integrity? Do what we say we're going to do, period. And then, of course, say we're going to do good things, right? Yeah. Obviously, don't say you're going to bomb somebody and then do it. That would be one that, don't do, right? But it just seems to me that if we all did just what we said, and it's like we're having this wonderful interaction right now, and why is that? It's because you said you would be here, and I said I would be here, and we both kept our word. And my day is going to be so much better now that we've done this.
I as well. My friend, again, it is such a great pleasure. Scott Paton. Paton, my friend, Paton. Scott, thanks for being on what is inspired by 12-minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.